Welcome back to Life Love Shopping. The U.S. Department of Justice reports around 25% of college women will be sexually assaulted during their university years. Crazy.
And that's right. And as millions of young women head off to college, their new and exciting adventure can turn a dark corner. Now, our next guest, author of Keep Your College Daughter Safe, Richard Hart, has worked with law enforcement for a number of years.
And he joins us now with some helpful advice when it comes to keeping your daughter safe while she's away at college. Hi, Richard.
Hi, guys.
Thanks so much for being here. I'm so excited about this book because it's stuff that no one talks about, but we need to talk about. So how did you get started with this?
You know, the first thing is, and people always ask me that question because I don't have a daughter and I don't have
a
an
daughter.
instance.
See, I thought the answer would be, well, my dad went off to school.
Yeah, no, you know, we watch stuff on TV and we hear these reports about such and such happening, and we think, you know, what could I do? I wish I could do something. And all of a sudden, 25,000 teddy bears flood into a town.
Right.
And I'm watching the news one day. A couple of young women were kidnapped from a Lover's Lane type location in Los Angeles or near Los Angeles. And good news, happy ending, returned safely to their families. 3 or 4 years later, a young woman, model hopeful out of Santa Monica, not so lucky. And I thought, you know, what could I do?
Right.
And all of a sudden I realized with my training, my background, that I could have potentially written something that might have made a difference in both those situations. And I thought, you know, if I don't get down and write this, then I have become part of this problem, not part of this solution. Right. So that was the genesis of the book.
You've given it great solutions in your book, and you have a few things we should never do, right? College girls should never do when
and I hate to start off with negative stuff, but there really
we
are
need the
a couple,
don'ts, though, because it's easy to say this is what you should do, but the don'ts, I think, are a bit more important.
Yeah, and sometimes they are. The first don't is something that we're all trained with, which is their strength in numbers. Don't do things alone. Now, it doesn't mean being paranoid and everything. It just means that if you're going to go running out in the trails, or if you're going out at night to bars or clubs, just take somebody with you. Be with somebody else.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and the second thing is, don't treat acquaintances like friends. This is huge in the college environment, huge. A group of girls will go out dancing or to a club, and all of a sudden one of them isn't feeling well. We don't know if she's drunk or she's been drugged, but she's not feeling well. And a guy that all of you have seen there week after week after week, absolutely. And he steps forward and he goes, you know, guys, you're having such a good time. I was just getting ready to split. That's the bad guy. That's the guy that commits the assault.
It's hard too in college because that's the place you make those friends. So everybody kind of seems like a friend, and you don't really know how to decipher between friend and a friend.
And especially making the jump from high school to college, you're used to being around the same people all the time. In high school, where they're your high school friends, you've known them since you were a kid. So trying to make that distinguishment in college.
Yeah, totally. And the third never do is don't rely on self-defense. Self-defense is one of the huge myths we have in this country, which nobody talks about. There's a 35-pound disparity between men and women in America. You cannot give up 35 pounds and overtake an aggressor. It's next to impossible.
Little Mace can't do that.
And so I always tell people, don't rely on self-defense. It's fine if you have the training, but don't rely on it. It gives many people...
I like to hear that from a male perspective, too, because I think now we're so empowered and we're like, oh, we have this and we have that and we can kick his butt. And you're like, no, I'm telling you, don't do it.
Yeah, at 35 pounds, a good fighter still can't beat a medium fighter giving up 35 pounds.
And so safety is the main thing, and you have actually a formula for
that's
safe,
what I call my SAFE formula, S-A-F-E, the S stands for safeguard. Safeguard your information. A lot of people don't realize that something as simple as a Bluetooth item, which we all use, can be picked up on its radio device. So it can be picked up on a CB radio. Your entire conversation can be heard on this thing. The A stands for awareness, awareness, awareness. You want to know what's going on in your environment, who's there, that kind of thing. The F stands for fluctuate. Fluctuate your schedule. You don't want to be running every Thursday morning between 9:15 and 10:15 on the same trail.
That's important, I think, just for women in general, college and I, because I do the same thing. My producer and I were talking about this earlier. I make sure I don't go home at the same time every day because somebody's watching you whether you know it or not.
Yeah, and it's people in general, not just women. I mean, that's how burglaries happen and all that stuff. The E stands for exercise. Exercise your right to say no. Every woman has the right to say no, I don't want this date to continue. No, I'm not interested in having sex with you, etc. So that's the SAFE formula.
I like that. Exercise no. No. I know how to exercise no. Do you know how to exercise no?
I do. You learn that early as a woman, I think.
You have to. But thank you so much for being here, Richard.
Thank you for
and
having
if you want
me.
more information, you can head to our website, lifeloveshopping.com. Don't go anywhere. We still got our viral story that's coming up next.